The film begins in a small American town, a place plagued by drug addiction due to the growing number of dealers. Meet Sheriff Mike, who's having a tough morning because he just lost his son to a drug overdose. Now, shift your focus to Shelby John. He's on a mission to buy some drinks for his girlfriend, Robbie. But as he steps into their home, you realize that both John and Robbie are caught in the grip of addiction, spending their nights together in this struggle. One day, on their terrace, John and Robbie have a heart-to-heart conversation. Robbie senses the need to break free from their addiction and live a regular life. John is skeptical, asking if they've ever tried and failed. Robbie reveals her dream of marriage, children, and a normal life with John. After a lengthy discussion, they make a life-changing decision to leave behind the illegal drugs that have been ruining them. Even though they know it won't be a walk in the park, they gather all their drug-related items and toss them away. In the days that followed, they managed to endure the withdrawal. But as time went on, the pain became unbearable. They experienced vomiting, convulsions, anxiety, depression, and even thoughts of suicide every day. Despite the agony, their determination to break free from addiction remained unwavering. Whenever Robbie felt like giving in and going back to buying illegal drugs, John was there to stop her. John believed they could conquer this challenge together. Fast forward, they've triumphed over their addiction. Robbie attended church for the first time, and John went to a jewelry store to buy an engagement ring. However, fate had other plans. John unexpectedly encountered Elvis, the man who used to supply them with illegal drugs. Elvis questioned John if he was buying for someone else, but John firmly informed him that they had quit and urged Elvis to stay away. Now, let's shift our focus to the other side of the story. We're about to meet the gangsters who have been controlling the drug trade in the city. The leader of this ruthless gang is known as Coyote. In a chilling incident, Coyote mercilessly killed one of his henchmen for stealing his illegal drugs. As evening falls, John and Robbie are beaming with happiness. They've decided to visit Robbie's family to share the exciting news of their upcoming wedding. A few days later, they arrive at Robbie's family home, coinciding with her nephew's birthday celebration. They are warmly greeted by Robbie's uncle, Peter, who has been a pillar of support for their family. Peter is also known for his deep religious convictions. After celebrating Robbie's birthday, her family gathered for lunch, during which Robbie shared a significant announcement: her plans to marry John in the near future. Robbie's mother was surprised and wished that John had asked for her blessing beforehand. Responding quickly, John apologized and promised to be a devoted husband. Ultimately, Robbie's mother gave her approval for the marriage. In contrast, Peter was delighted and had full confidence in John's character. In the days leading up to their wedding, Robbie had an unexpected request. She wanted to be baptized before the big day. John, being a loving partner, readily agreed. However, the following day, John encountered an unexpected visitor when he returned home, Elvis. Elvis claimed to have something new and exciting for both John and Robbie. Irritated and not in the mood for any nonsense, John warned Elvis against offering anything illegal again, even threatening physical harm. Elvis left but accidentally collided with Robbie's car. When Robbie inquired about the situation, Elvis lied, stating that John had ordered something new. Feeling betrayed, Robbie accepted the illegal items while still harboring doubts about John. Later, when John asked why Robbie was behaving strangely at his place, she brushed it off, insisting that everything was fine. The next day, John tragically discovered Robbie lifeless on the terrace, having succumbed to an overdose. This heartbreaking loss occurred just days before their wedding. Despite his grief, John honored Robbie's final wish and had her baptized. The pastor suggested that John also get baptized, but he declined, carrying the weight of his own sins. Returning home, John prepared for revenge against Elvis, arming himself with a nail gun. To everyone's surprise, it was revealed that John had a background as a special forces soldier. Before John could take any action, Sheriff Mike and his team arrived on the scene. News had spread about John's girlfriend's death, and they were concerned that he might take matters into his own hands. Unfortunately, John had already left, leaving the sheriff and his team searching for him. In the evening, John visited Elvis's house. Elvis, ready to answer the door, was surprised when John abruptly instructed Elvis's wife and child to leave promptly. In this unexpected moment, John questioned why Elvis was still involved in distributing illegal substances to Robbie. Elvis clarified that he had a sales target to meet, needing to sell 1 kilogram of illegal substances within a month due to a lack of buyers this month. He even confessed that he had attempted to entice Robbie back into addiction. Curious, John inquired about the source of these substances. Initially hesitant, Elvis eventually divulged that he obtained the illegal drugs from a dealer named Darius. After Elvis disclosed Darius's name and whereabouts, John wasted no time. And well, let's just say Elvis's journey ended there. John took some of Elvis's firearms and made a swift exit. Not long after that, the sheriff arrived at Elvis's residence following a call from Elvis's wife. Consequently, The sheriff and his team stumbled upon a stash of illegal drugs that Elvis had prepared for distribution. Meanwhile, John swiftly made his way to a hotel, following the information Elvis had shared about Darius's whereabouts. Upon entering the hotel, John confronted Darius's right-hand man with an unexpected greeting. Darius, the individual responsible for supplying illegal substances to Elvis, understandably questioned John's intentions. John casually revealed his intention to dismantle the entire network of drug dealers in the city. Darius expressed a desire to quit the business, but his superior, Coyote, didn't allow it. John inquired about the identity of this Coyote character, and the right-hand man initially tried to evade the question. However, John wasn't having any of it, and ended up coercing the information from him by shooting the man in the leg. As it turned out, Coyote was hiding in a remote village with his gang members. Darius also advised John to deal with Coyote promptly, as Coyote might do the same to John. Interestingly, John spared Darius and departed. Subsequently, the sheriff and his team arrived at the hotel upon hearing about the commotion caused by John. They located the right-hand man and decided to conduct an interrogation inside the ambulance. The sheriff inquired about the identity of the individual who had shot the right-hand man's leg. Since the right-hand man remained tight-lipped, the sheriff resorted to some persuasive methods. Eventually, the right-hand man revealed that John was en route to Coyote's hideout in a remote village. Shortly, in the end, John arrived at Coyote's headquarters. Before carrying out the attack, John monitored them first. Here's Coyote, who was seen killing one of his men, who was considered a traitor. Meanwhile, under the headquarters, there is a car scene about to send drugs until it was seen that John managed to stop the car in the middle of the road. Without hesitation, John killed the driver. Then John put some grenades in the car, and it exploded. After that, John secretly entered the headquarters area through the back road. Here, without hesitation, John finished them all, one by one. The gangster members of Coyote's men killed by John until in the end, John managed to corner Coyote. But when he was about to shoot, it turned out that John had run out of bullets. Then a fight broke out between them until Coyote chose to run away into the forest. Here, John did not stay silent. He took the weapon that was lying there and then went after Coyote. Shortly, the sheriff came with one of his men while John and Coyote were still chasing each other in the forest. After an hour, Coyote tried to contact the big boss who had been working with Coyote all this time. But suddenly, John snatched Coyote's phone, and he was very surprised because the mastermind of all drug trafficking in this city was someone he knew. When John was about to kill Coyote, suddenly the sheriff came, holding a gun. The sheriff begged John to stop all this brutality and let him handle it. When John was starting to melt down, suddenly, one of Coyote's men came, and he immediately shot the sheriff's men. Luckily, John could kill him, and for Coyote, the sheriff had to shoot for trying to resist. Then John and the sheriff took the sheriff's men out of the forest. After leaving the forest, John accidentally met a resident who happened to be passing by. John also asked the resident to take the sheriff's men to the hospital. Here, the sheriff will bring his men, while John will go to the mastermind behind all the drugs in the city. Shortly, John finally met the mastermind behind all of this, who turned out to be Peter, who was none other than John's uncle. John couldn't stop thinking that Peter, who he thought was a religious person, was actually the biggest dealer and supported Robbie's family members, who were none other than John's girlfriend's family members. On one occasion, Peter secretly took a gun and then shot John, and a fight broke out between them. When Peter was cornered, John immediately injected drugs into Peter's body so that Peter felt what Robbie felt. At the end, after Peter died, John went to the Reverend, because now John wanted to be baptized in the same river as Robbie. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe Mango Recap for more video like this and help the channel grow.